The gentleman from California, Mr. Sherman, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Director, I want to join with the ranking member and others in commending you for an outstanding job. You've dealt with 4 million consumer complaints, returned $17.5 billion to consumers. Just your rule on overdraft protection, saving consumers $5 billion. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, because when you take action, you not only return money to wrong consumers, you deter bad practices through the whole industry so the consumers don't get ripped off in the first place. I want to commend your efforts on junk fees. Because of my focus on capital markets, I digress a little bit and mention that unfortunately the SEC is thinking of adding a junk fee to mutual fund investors, or many of them, but that's not the focus of this hearing. I also want to say that I'm pretty confident that the Supreme Court, relatively confident the Supreme Court will uphold your structure. It is so necessary to make sure that you have the independence you need to do the good work that you've been doing. I'm also pleased that you issued proposed rules dealing with PACE loans. These loans seem to have perhaps a well-intentioned purpose, but are used by those who are predatory. My home state of California took action in 2017. Your rule builds on that work in California, providing not only the Truth in Lending Act protection, but especially those ability to repay determinations. Can I count on you not to weaken the rule as we get from proposed to final?
Yeah, it's currently under process, but let me just say the ability to pay rules are very, very important to make sure that that rulemaking meets its intended purposes. I completely share your view that there's a lot of well-intentioned elements of PACE lending, but it can also lead to a lot of abuse.
We've got these debt settlement companies that claim that they'll have you pay off your debt without having to pay the amount you owe. Your website says that these companies, dealing with them can be risky. Some of these companies are discouraging consumers from making payments, causing them to default, even encouraging them to take on additional debt. What can you do about those who are advising people to not only not to pay what they owe, and to even incur more debt they can't afford to repay?
Well, certainly we've seen a number of issues where consumers are seeking help, but instead they become worse off. We recently finalized an order, we went to court to get it, against one of the largest debt repair conglomerates and obtained a judgment close to $3 billion. So we continue to try and monitor what are the vectors in which people are being defrauded. We understand that there may be an uptick soon because TikTok will be allowing more ads on this business. So we're very much monitoring the situation.
Just another reason to be wary of TikTok. We've got a real concern about know your customer, anti-money laundering, 1.1 million reports of identity theft. There's a thing called the credit header data, which is just the name and address and social security number, nothing else in the credit report. These are being used by financial institutions in order to make, to verify identity and to prevent identity theft and to comply with the Know Your Customer laws. There is some discussion in your agency to qualify just this name, address, social security report as a consumer report. Will this adversely affect the ability to prevent identity theft and compliance with Know Your Customer law?
No, I appreciate the question, and we have not proposed anything on this. We do not want to do anything that would jeopardize a financial institution's ability to really crack down on identity theft. I think certainly, though, we know that this data is being used outside of financial institutions, including to steal people's identity. So I think that's what we're looking at with respect to data brokers and how we might handle some of this. But again, we have not proposed anything on this front.
And finally, I hope you'll make sure that you've got protection for privacy as you move forward with these Section 1071 rules, and I yield back.